Thanks for having me, Pat. It's not an oxymoron.
Okay, I'll agree with that, seeing as how I ride. So I'm kind of in your bailiwick there.
Yeah.
All right, you've got some interesting perspectives on it.
Yeah, joking about the oxymoron, but I think a lot of people think that motorcycles are simply crazy, dangerous death traps, and that's obviously not the case. Motorcycles are not inherently dangerous, but poor riding is extremely dangerous. So, like a lot of other things, including driving, what you want is to be properly trained so that you're doing things the right way. So, one thing is to make yourself safe out there. If you haven't taken a rider course, take one. If you haven't taken one recently, consider taking one more recently, because there are a lot of things that I think all of us can be guilty in many facets of our lives of sliding into bad habits. Oh, I know that. Something that you should be doing, it intellectually, but you're not practicing it. So getting a reminder with a course that tells you to go practice those things that you may or may not know will certainly help make you safer. There is, obviously, we can be safer if we take a tumble, if we're wearing protective gear. And so I'm all for protective gear. However, it's a whole lot better if you just don't take the tumble to begin with. And despite the notion that most people have that has nothing to do with the rider, it's the other guy, actually most of it has to do with the rider. I don't know that I'm a good enough rider to avoid every single potential wreck that might come my way, but I do think that almost all of them are avoidable. Even if it's the other person's fault, there are things that you can do to avoid that wreck, and it doesn't matter whose fault it is. You're the one that's going to get banged up, so let's avoid it. That's my view.
Exactly. All right, what are some of the tricks that people can use?
So I think number one is awareness. And I think a lot of people just don't think about this. And as a rider, you have a tremendous advantage in visibility. It's very easy on a motorcycle with proper mirrors to have 360-degree awareness, right? Meaning that you can see everything in 360-degree bubble around yourself by just doing this, right? Between what you can see here, what you can see in your mirrors, and a quick glance like this, you can very clearly see everything in 360 degrees. You don't have that in a car. And when I tell this to people, I see sort of surprise, right? But if you're in a car, those big chunky pillars next to your windshield and, generally next to your, left ear and another one on the other side and the pillars in the back, they block things quite a bit.
Now, let me interrupt you there.
Yeah.
A lot of new cars, huge headrests in the back.
Yeah. Right.
Which really block visibility.
So those things are there for a reason. I get that. They're more structural. If the car flips over, it's going to do a better job protecting you. The headrest helps protect against whiplash and things like that. All of those things are safety features that are designed to protect you once the worst happens. But by giving up some of that visibility, you actually increase the chances that somebody might have the worst happen. You don't have that problem with the motorcycle. You're not surrounded by a cage, but you do have this tremendous advantage of visibility. And I've heard people talk about, reflexes, and boy, a young person has quicker reflexes. Reflexes can save a portion of a second, but awareness can tell you about something that's going to happen 10, 15, 20 seconds before it happens. The notion, somebody says, oh, that guy came out of nowhere. That's actually never happened in the history of the world, right? People don't come out of nowhere. They didn't fall from the sky and land into your lane. That guy was acting squirrely a long time ago, and if you were looking, you could see him acting squirrely, and you could simply choose to accelerate, brake, move over a lane, so that when he lurched into your lane, which was very predictable if you'd been paying attention, you're not there. No drama, no muss, no fuss, no reflexes required, just awareness. So that's a huge one. And I believe that once you take advantage of that as a motorcycle rider, you never lose it. So when you're in your car, you may be a little less attuned to the world, but you don't lose those habits of paying attention and looking for where the squirrels are going to come from and where these guys are going to come out of nowhere. And so it's a real advantage to you mentally as a driver going forward as well. So that's one. Another big one is if you take advantage of it, is the advantage that you have in maneuverability of a motorcycle. It is typically can accelerate faster than most cars, brake more quickly than most cars, and partially because of agility and partially because of size, it can allow you some more maneuverability. So for instance, if you're in a car and there is a obstruction in the middle of the road, if you swerve, you are very quickly into somebody else's space. But in a motorcycle, you only take up a small portion of that lane. It's pretty easy to stay within a lane and still be able to move around a big obstruction. An example would be a truck tire tread flying off and laying in the road. We've all seen that happen, right? You're driving down the highway, suddenly there's brake lights everywhere, cars are going every which way to go around this obstruction. Mm-hmm. A motorcycle can stay in the lane and simply, go around the tire. And I don't know how many times a wreck is caused by an incident like that, but it's sort of shocking that it's not all the time because of what you see when cars are changing lanes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then the third thing, and this always gets a little bit of a chuckle, is that you present a smaller target. So motorcycle, just like with the lane movement, it's substantially smaller. You can use your size to give yourself more of a space cushion. So if you've got a car to your right, use the left track in the lane, and if that person does something, you've got a lot more cushion. If you were in a car, you're a pretty big target and you can't move very far. If they moved into your lane, you're going to collide. So those three things, again, if you choose to take advantage of them, provide substantial safety advantages for a motorcycle over a car. And let's face it, we're at a disadvantage in some other places, so take advantage of the ones that you do have.
Okay. Well, Lyndon, thank you for doing this, and how can people get in touch?
You can stop by and see us at Rommel Harley-Davidson in Annapolis. Our address is 30 Hudson Street in Annapolis, Maryland, or give us a call, 410-263-3345, or on the web, rommelhd.com.
Please subscribe to Goss's Garage on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and for more car tips, money-saving ideas, visit goss-garage.com. Drive gently. See you next time, right here in Goss's Garage.